oh my God, we're doing a live stream on a Friday night because we are losers who care about our community.
How about it?
So welcome, everybody. We're here tonight with, well, first I want to, number one, say, you got to turn that down. I can hear it. I want to say thanks to Dan for getting this all together.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, guys, for having me here tonight. I appreciate all the hard work I did, and I know you really appreciate everything I did here today. Our new branding that you can see up here in this corner over here.
Dan is.
This is my moment. I did something,
proud.
and I'm very proud of it. And I made myself some lower thirds for our guests, so we could all see who's here, who's talking. If you want to follow me on my new Instagram, it's fuckable gingerface.
How do you spell that?
It's FAQABLE,
Oh,
ginger
man.
face.
I didn't know he was going to do that.
Right off the bat, we're canceled.
But it's good. I'm glad Mike is back here with us on the live stream
Heyo.
today.
Is he? He has his own camera now.
He does.
I
Hey,
do.
Micah.
Hi. Hey,
Like a
everybody.
deer in headlights. Did his lower third go, Dan?
It's good. You could go now.
All right, is it my turn again?
Now it's you go again, yeah.
Okay, so I want to first, I want to say to everybody, it's the first time that we're doing this live with a guest in here, and we were going to be on YouTube, Rumble, and X, but Dan screwed up, even though he did a great job, and Rumble isn't going right now, but we will post it after this is all done. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment, which is all the things that all those YouTubers say. If you want to comment, Mike is keeping track of the comments, and we'll get to them like as we're done, as we're coming, towards the end of what we're doing. So if anybody has anything to say, anything that you've seen, anything that is interesting to you, just shoot it our way in the comments, and Mike will comment to you. And we're going to premiere in a couple minutes something that just premiered at 7 o'clock on YouTube about the unhoused crisis in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Lackawanna County at large. So I want to introduce real quick Andy Chomko, and Dan knows how to cut to him. Say hi, Andy.
Hi. Hi, I'm Andy Chomko.
Can you give me a little background on you real quick, like your quick elevator pitch resume of like what you've done in life, your career, and some of the organizations you're involved with?
Sure. Well, it's nice to be back.
Third time's a charm, brother.
Third time, we'll see. We'll see if we'll be back for a fourth.
We'll see how this goes.
You will be.
So I'm born and raised in West Scranton. My family is in the funeral business since 1905. My great-grandfather came over on a boat, and he got into funeral directing. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't want to be a butcher or, I don't know.
Did he immigrate here legally?
He did.
Okay, good.
From
Okay.
where?
Well, Ukraine. At the time, it might have been Austria-Hungary, but back then, same that's going on now. The borders are changing. Changed back then. They're changing now. And, came over here. And since 1905, my family's been in the funeral industry in the local community. When I graduated high school, I was right around 9/11. That kind of compelled me to go in the military. And when from there, I went to infantry school, airborne school, the Ranger Indoctrination Program. Then I went into 1st Ranger Battalion, did 4 deployments with them, got out, and went to school. Got a business degree. And then I decided to go work for the federal government again, which is an eye-opener.
Another episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Department of the Army, Department of Defense, just doing like security, cop work. And then I decided to go to school to be a funeral director. And from there, I ran for office once in the city, lost by less than 300 votes.
It was a tight one.
It was. But things happen for whatever reasons that happen. But last year, fast forward to how we're here tonight.
Well, tell me about the organizations you're part of right now, real quick, and then we'll watch the video.
Oh, sure. Well, Fight for Vets.
I just want people to have some context of like, oh, this guy he's been around. He knows what's going on.
I hope so.
Yeah. It's like Fight for Vets is one of the groups.
Yeah, it's a lot. Fight for Vets. 2015, co-founder, vice president of that. I'm newly into the West Scranton Wrestling Alumni Association. I sit on the board there. We are offering wrestling to all of the Scranton School District, free of charge. You want to learn how to wrestle? We're going to teach you. We're going to get you matches. We're going to, teach you how to defend yourself. And, hopefully that can spur some good community involvement. We got a building. We're remodeling the building. So we're any kid throughout the school district, throughout the area, we just want to teach the sport. And hopefully that can bring some camaraderie and bring people together. I am also involved with the American Ukrainian Veterans of Lackawanna County. I am also the treasurer for the newly reformed Northeast Armed Forces Day Parade Committee.
And that parade's in April?
Yes.
Okay.
I think, right? I got to check my planner.
Well, I think it's April. We're fine.
Yeah.
If not, we'll correct it.
Right. Sorry. You just,
No, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was like April 19th. We're good.
No, there's a lot that I'm involved with, and I try to wake up every single day, especially being a funeral director and being involved with the veteran organizations, other organizations, just trying to make our world a little bit better and trying to make our city better, stronger. I wake up every day with how can I do something better.
And when you were deployed, like around the world, you have been to places. Right.
Yeah.
So you're not just. I've just only been in Scranton. So like just real quick, what other places or countries have you been in for more than a day?
Iraq, Afghanistan, Qatar. I did like a weird layover in like England maybe, but that was like only for a couple hours. Germany. Not that I like lived there or anything, but
But you've seen other
saw
places.
some stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I was stationed at Hunter Army Airfield in Georgia, east and west sides of Georgia.
So you've seen like a lot of America and the
Florida.
rest of the world, and
Oh yeah.
okay. So I bring that up to say that like your experience is important in what we're going to talk about.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. So Dan, how close are you to running that?
Oh, as soon as you want.
Okay. So Andy, and we'll talk about this after we watch this. But real quick is that Andy and I went out because we heard some rumblings about the homeless situation in Scranton.
Sure.
And some of us have noticed it's increasing. So Andy hit me up one day and was like, hey, do you want to go out? And I was like, well, yeah, let's just go see what we see. And I expected to see not what we saw. It was worse.
Yeah.
I expected to see something bad. I just didn't expect to see something terrible,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
It's
like,
shocking.
Like the level of human suffering and culpability with people is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, let's just run it. The video's about 12 minutes, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it, if that's okay. Everybody good? Mike, are you good? Dan,
All right,
want to run it?
Yeah, let's go.
Thank you. So we got word of homeless encampments all over town.
All over. Dozens of them.
So we decided to go out and see what these people were talking about and maybe to show people what it is and what it means. So I'm here with Andy Chomko, veteran, good man, and we'll show you what we see. Did you ever see something like this?
In third world country, maybe Philly, New York. Another camp on the other side? No, there's not. I don't know how to get back there. We're gonna go in there.
sad. Sad, but there's no excuse. How does it get to that point? Lawlessness. Stop. Stop, Mark. I'm not gonna be able to sleep over this shit. How do you fix it? How does all this shit get here? Like, look at this fucking pile of junk. That's a pile of fucking junk. Trash, rubbish. How does this get to this point? How does anyone think it's okay to get to this point? Any elected official that thinks that this is okay they're wrong. And anyone that's not willing to fight it is wrong. Everything that we've all learned. Don't litter, pick up your trash, do this. So we're just good little drones. Everybody else can say f it. It's all a lie. The majority of these elected officials, maybe not a majority, but a sizable proportion of the elected officials, oh, we're doing all we can. Are you really? Are you? Because I don't see it. And anyone that says that they see it, they're lying. They're lying to themselves. They're lying to their constituents. It's disgusting. When are people going to say enough is enough? No hope. People are leaving the city. No one's staying. That's for sure. It's disgusting.
shot in there. Probably pretty decent names in it. What's that? Well, that's disgusting.
How could this be okay? The amount of junk that's in this river. People shitting out here, kids walking by, women walking by. Wonder how safe they feel. Not very safe. No way. It's disgusting. Gotta help them somehow. But letting them alone, living by a river, that's not how you help people. Yes.
Holy fuck.
How did it get to this point, Mark?
Like, this isn't someone dumping garbage. You know what I mean?
Nope. What is that?
That's where we work.
Well, no, I'm not born. I'm actually born here.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, later, but I went to high school. in Roxbury, so.
This isn't someone dumping garbage. It's not like a truck is. This is a human bringing a bag or several bags and leaving it every single time. That probably lives there, or one of the other structures, or however many dozens of it. It's. What are these people doing? What are our elected officials doing? Is our leadership of our police department, our leadership of DPW, what are they doing? Ask yourself that. What are they doing? Who's telling them not to do this? Anyone that thinks that this is okay and that is okay, and any of the other dozens of sites like this thinks that this is okay, you are part of the problem. And in my opinion, I don't want you in the city. And I think a lot of other people feel that way too. If you think that this is okay, anyone that thinks that this is okay, leave. You're not welcome here.
Well, there you have it. Part one.
Yep.
Part one.
That
Say whatever you
was mind-boggling to see for the first time.
Weird, ain't it?
Yep.
Like my wife and I and our kids will go walk the Heritage Trail, and you see it there. I didn't realize it was everywhere. I thought it was just kind of isolated to that one spot.
No.
It's not. It's not. So, as you said, you and your family, you guys walk the trail, and a lot of other families throughout the county, probably throughout the state, like have come and see, the trail. Let's go check it out. So last year, in August, my son and I were riding our mountain bikes. Well, I have a mountain bike. He has like a little street bike, a little 20-inch. But we're riding the trail. And I told him, I said, Elias, after we get to like 75 miles, I'll build you a jump. Like that's what he really wants to do. He wants to, jump on his, like the BMX guys do.
Yeah.
So we're riding around. One week, I see an encampment, like a tent, 10 yards off of the trail. So I go over, looking around, smelling. I'm like, oh man, it smells like shit. So I'm looking, and there's literal human feces everywhere, all over. I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my. So I'm looking in the tent, and clearly someone's living there. There's food, there's junk. I took pictures of it. So I started taking pictures, and I said, all right, well, I know where another encampment is. Let me take a picture of it on the river. Sent it to the Lackawanna Valley Heritage Trail. They were aware of it. They said, oh, the Scranton police they're aware of it, but no one wants to do anything. I just don't understand. No one wants to do anything. So this is for me, has been going on since August, and I know that it's been problematic before that. So I sent a text message to elected officials, and one person that got back to me, several people got back to me, but the one elected official that's in City Hall says the ACLU is waiting to sue us if we touch them. We just can't arrest them. Well, no shit. We just can't arrest them. But we cannot do nothing if any one of us here shit in the middle of the street or shit on the side of a path, and we had garbage all over it, we would be cited, fined, and brought to the 7th floor of the hospital. What is going on?
So, do you want to take this?
It's a lot to unpack. Why is there a threat of an ACLU lawsuit?
I have no idea.
So, if you want me to hop in, so I've seen reporting out of San Francisco, because I mean, I don't think anyone can deny that the two most at-risk cities in this country for homeless is probably San Francisco and Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen videos of reporters out of Portland or San Francisco who, when tax-paying citizens, business owners, whatever, try to get them removed from either on the sidewalks or on their property or whatever, there is 25-year-old recently graduated attorneys who are employed by the ACLU who are on call. And anytime someone tries to get them out of there, the ACLU attorney is there saying you are violating their civil rights.
Is that really? I mean,
I've seen it happen multiple times.
I don't think that video and what we've seen and witnessed, that has nothing to do with civil rights.
Well, there's
trespassing laws. There's littering laws.
Okay, so here's the issue with the trespassing thing, especially in the city of Scranton. From what I've been told, is that many of the properties that these people are on are properties that no one has claimed since the 70s, the 20s, whatever. So no one knows who owns the property. So the only way that you can get trespassed on a property is the property owner has to say, please trespass them.
Right.
So the city, I don't know if they can. So that's the thing that I've been told by some police officers, where it's like, we'd love to, but we are getting threatened with.
Someone gave me a screenshot of someone commenting on social media saying that there was a plan to, I don't know, rouse them up and get it cleaned up. And I guess the day or 2 days before it was supposed to happen, it was kiboshed. Now,
yeah.
I just don't understand how could this be okay? If any one of us owned property along a river and it was like that, the DEP would shut us down and tax us, not tax us, fine us into bankruptcy. Like that is not okay. Mm-hmm. And where's the compassion? Where's the dignity? And I'm sorry, living like that is not letting that happen in our city. That's not compassionate and that's not dignified.
It's cruel.
Right.
It's cruel to allow people who, there's a difference. And I think we put up a post the other day and somebody talked about, make sure you talk about the difference between homeless and transient. Like, there's categories to this. There are people who like to, hop trains, and I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this. We use hobos.
Part 2.
Yeah. So there's a clear difference. These are people that clearly aren't down on their luck, need a little bit of help from St. Francis or the Keystone Mission. These are people that are, I don't know another way to say it other than living feral.
Well, I think so.
Ooh,
so
they're like a cat.
And
the world is their litter box. They can just shit and piss everywhere.
So I've noticed this since COVID that it's getting worse. And me, a school director and a citizen went down in September of 2023 at like 6:45 in the morning because we were concerned about the proximity of the children going to Scranton High School with, what's that, Olive Street?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there where the pavilion is, right where the Heritage Trail is. And I mean, I haven't released it, but I actually filmed from the pavilion. The background was the Scranton High School and kids going into the Scranton High School. The midground was a man who was living under a trailer who rolled out and relieved himself aimed at the Scranton High School while two students walk in the foreground of my frame. So in one shot, you have the children going into the Scranton High School, an unhoused man urinating aimed at the school, and then the children walking within like 20 feet of him.
Yeah, I wonder the stories. I wonder like the back end of it, the stuff that's not in the paper.
I think that we can honestly say that, they are not, especially the press around here doesn't care about this.
Well, what's the solution? I'll tell you what, the solution's not is not doing it. You need to do something.
So this
doing nothing is not the answer.
But homelessness is always a problem, right? No matter where you are. I've seen, the problem is what I see is and you guys can all agree or disagree with me. I think some of the plans they have in place incentivize homelessness. And I think in turn what that does is it incentivizes drug use and mental illness.
I found drugs in one of those huts.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yes. So look, why don't we, okay, let's go. You call me and you said, hey, I'm going to go out and take some drone photos of these encampments along the Heritage Trail. Do you want to come out and shoot with me? And I said, yeah.
Yep.
And I didn't know that I was going to film you or any of that stuff. It just all
was organic.
It just all happened spontaneously. Yeah. But once we started to, after we went to the first place, it was very like, this is a huge problem.
And we talked to a business owner.
Well, yeah, so the first place we went to was a business owner who's actually a veteran, an immigrant veteran.
Navy vet.
Who has gotten basically zero. Yeah, that's okay. Who's gotten basically zero help from the people he has asked for help. And so he's going to be on part 3. We already talked to him. But then, so we went from, what was that, Railroad Ave?
Railroad Ave down to Redner's.
Yep.
And then from there we went to the trail. Well, we on one end of the trail, and then we...
we were just at the more public part, and then I was like, hey,
right.
And both of us were like, do you want to go see what else is down there? And then it just got worse.
Yeah, we didn't even cross Broadway.
No, we just went from Olive down to the railroad bridge. Mm-hmm. So in the video, when you see all that crap with the propane tanks and everything down by the river, that's under the railroad bridge.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't we learn something about I-95 and combustibles under I-95 that,
mm-hmm.
that could cause problems? Like, that's a security problem. There's so many things that are wrong with this, and I just don't understand why no one's taking the initiative to actually do something. It just seems like lip service. It just seems like, I don't know, we're not going to get to that today. We're going to do something else. I'm sorry. What is more important than securing your bridges, securing your, let's talk about the school, securing the school grounds. There's so many things wrong with it.
So when Andy goes, that's a big pile of fucking junk. That was about, what would you say, 200 yards from the Scranton High School?
About 300 yards, 300 meters.
I mean, within eye line.
Oh,
and then since we've been there,
there's another
there's
tent.
more tents that
Yes.
are being put up around there.
Yeah, it seems like every day it gets worse.
Yeah, and they go to the pavilion to charge their phones, and they have access to that, and it's all like we are incentivized.
As hundreds of teenagers are walking by every weekday.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Which a couple weeks ago there was someone with a semi-automatic rifle.
At the Scranton High
was
School.
Arrested. Probably actually very, very close to there. Mm-hmm. Might even been on that section of the trail.
It was on the what road is that? Munchak?
Maybe. Yeah.
It was right there.
Yeah.
It was right there. So I think the thing that really scared the shit out of us was by the high school. We ran into a gentleman who comes down. His wife he's from Clark Summit. His wife likes to walk the trail. Yeah. And we didn't say anything to anybody. Andy has his drone. I have my camera. He came up to us. He goes, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, we didn't know it was this bad. So we're kind of just like documenting it. And then he started to tell us this story about, he's like, it was what, noon?
Yeah.
He goes, my wife wants to walk the trail, but I won't let her walk alone. So I have to come down from Clark Summit with her to walk the trail with her.
It's the same story for me and my wife. Like, we used to ride the bikes with the kids up and down the trail. My wife and I, when the weather's good, like usually every Sunday afternoon, we'll try and get out there and walk the trail. And I cannot tell you the amount of times that we've been walking and somebody has come stumbling out of the bushes.
Yeah.
And been startled, and to the point where, my wife won't go there without me, like, at all.
I don't blame her.
There's so many people.
It's a security risk.
Not safe.
And
there was already somebody who bit their finger off or something. Do you remember that? Like a couple months ago, somebody down the trail bit somebody's finger off.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So there's a lot. Here's the thing, and you were concerned about this. You go, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, right?
Correct.
You come to a point. I don't think that you or I or the two fine gentlemen in this room are disagreeing with the assessment. The assessment is it's bad. I don't think you or I want to come off as unsympathetic. I think we have incredible empathy for people who are in that situation.
Yes.
The questions that we have to answer are, why are they there? Why are they in that situation? Because to incentivize them to continue that, I don't think is the answer. And what I mean by incentivize is to make sure that they want for nothing and stay homeless and addicted and mentally ill.
Sure.
They're not getting proper medical care, mental medical care. A lot of them are in a drug psychosis. And if you don't believe me, just look at Kensington, Philadelphia.
That's what it's going to turn into if we don't do something.
That's the concern. And I think the frustration lies with
inaction.
The elected officials not being able to see the weather patterns.
Oh, yeah.
If you do nothing, this will invariably come.
If you permit it, you promote it.
Correct.
Yeah, this isn't going to go away by itself. These people, like you said, like these people need help first and foremost.
They sure do.
And it's just like many other issues in the community.
I don't think the response is to throw more money at it, though. I think
no,
you need
it's
to.
not.
I think you need to
It's
enforce the things that are already there.
We need a plan, and the plan needs to be get these people off the streets. Take care of the safety concerns, especially so close to Scranton High School.
Yes. I mean, your daughter goes there, dude.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know. I knew that you knew. I was just.
I know.
For those that don't know, Micah's daughter could have been the woman, the young girl in the background of the man urinating that I filmed.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a reality of life. I was telling you guys, I didn't really tell you the whole story. There are these unhoused camps all over.
That word.
All over pockets of Scranton, but this isn't just a by the railroad tracks issue.
Sure isn't.
My businesses are downtown on the square, and every day there's somebody wandering throughout downtown, yelling at people, threatening people. Last Sunday, I got a call from one of my members of staff. She said, "There's a homeless guy here in the store. He walked all the way through, all the way to the back, tried to make himself a coffee. He's yelling at clients, yelling at staff." And I said, "I'm coming down, call the police." By the time I got there, he was gone. He had stolen a bunch of stuff. I found him about a block and a half away, called the police. They showed up. That was the second interaction they had with him that day, and they weren't allowed to do anything. He had already been trespassed from the pizza shop downtown. He was trying to get into another business.
There's no consequences for theft?
And it's just problematic. This isn't a problem of just people that are, have drug problems, have mental health problems, and they're living by the railroad tracks. It is a problem that is becoming a security risk, not just near there, but all over different parts of the city.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed.
Well, let's
You know,
let's ponder this thought experiment real quick while we're on the topic of businesses.
Okay.
If you were a business such as yours,
Mhm.
and this is repeatedly happening, what does that do to your business?
It destroys it.
Because people don't want to be in
It destroys it. I mean,
Yes.
if you can't.
So aren't our elected officials supposed to make sure that like the economics of this area are well oiled and safe?
Absolutely. Every one of them put their hand up, and they put their hand on whatever book that they believe in, and they swore to defend the Constitution of the state of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Support, defend,
And uphold.
What are they doing? I don't understand. So Section 127 of the Constitution is very, very clear. We are all entitled to certain things. And let me just read it just so I don't sound like too big of an idiot.
It's the right to
Natural resources and the public estate. So it's fine if people want to be homeless. And we want to say how can we fix it? Well, one, I think, and some people aren't going to like this, I think we need to create a zone for that, or maybe several zones throughout the county.
that gets dangerous.
Well, what is it now? It's dangerous now.
I hear you.
And they're already consolidating more so in one area than in any of the others. And you need to have a space for that. If you want to live outside and do that, fine. Let's get you some porta-johns so you're not just shitting out wherever you want. And let's get you a wash station.
Where were we? Were we up at Naog where we saw human poop?
Yeah. Just right in the middle of the trail.
Yeah, we were up at Naog. There was a human
He
poop.
goes, is that bear? I go, no.
That might have been Dan.
He wasn't with us that day, unless you knew we were going. I mean, you and I are going to disagree. Like Andy and I had a conversation about this, where he you know, it's the same question. It's like, what do you do? And you know, I've racked my brain about it, and
doing nothing isn't the answer.
I agree with you. To cover your eyes, your ears, and your mouth is not the way to handle this, because ignorance just leads to greater suffering.
Right. And you have people out there saying, "Oh, we got a beautiful river." What? Have you walked the river? Like,
oh, I saw like Palestinian flags in the river. Like they were just caught on rocks and shit. That was down that day we were down there. I filmed one of them. I'm like, this is nuts. Like all the shit in the river. You know, and look, I don't want to harp on any particular politician. So if we're going to harp on something, let's harp at an office or you know what I mean?
Like what's the Lips Department doing? Like there needs to be an absolute, not an absolute plan, but people need to come together on this. This isn't a partisan thing.
No, it's not Democrat,
This
Republican.
is our home. That river was just designated one of the most pristine rivers in the frickin' state.
Well, maybe not that section.
Well, no longer.
Yeah,
but
well, there's a reason they chose to build that trail there. It's a beautification project, and it's destroyed.
It is. Now,
How many millions did we spend on that? I mean, I know you don't know, but I'm just asking it as a question. It's like, so everyone pays their taxes. The taxes were used to make the Lackawanna Heritage Trail, which goes all the way, from Carbondale all the way down, and
this has been going on for decades. Like I grew up there.
Yeah.
Remember that guy came out of the tent and he goes, I said, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Right here." I said, "You're from right here?" I said, I was born and raised right up the street, like 300-400 yards away. Never met you. Like,
oh, that was the guy. That was the
43-year-old under the bridge.
Yes.
His name was Jason. He was from New York, and yeah. Said,
but he had three. So one of the like, just to go to stay at the Jason story, it's like the reason why I think if you see on the video, Andy goes 3 bikes, right? Because the place we were at before, one of the employees there, who was, you know, sweet guy, his electric bike was stolen by people on the Heritage Trail. So when Andy walked up and goes 3 bikes,
right,
we were like, oh, is one of them this guy's bike?
Right.
So at least anecdotally, I know that there are thefts going on of citizens. I know that there is fear of citizens to go down there.
Absolutely.
I know that there is public displays of nudity in front of high school kids. So it doesn't have to be that there's a report or anything like that, because I think there's a lot of reports.
Right.
I just don't know who's tending to them.
Right.
And that's a big problem. It's like, I don't think we need to throw more money at it. I don't think we need to.
We need
you
to
know,
enforce the law.
just enforce what's there. If you don't know who owns the property, find out. And if they're all dead, city takes it. They can trespass those people, and then the city can sell it and get
Right.
tax revenue from it.
All I know is doing nothing is not okay, and fining and citing people, homeowners, citizens of Scranton, taxpayers of Scranton, doing that to them and letting vagrants, whether they're living in town or whether they're transient, and letting them do whatever they want and destroy our community and our environment and our river, that is not okay. And if anyone thinks that that's okay, oh, we just gotta let them go. You're part of the problem. You need to move on to something else.
I think we need to reassess our tactics. To put it mildly, to put it as vanilla as possible. But the thing is I think everybody needs to come. The only way anything gets done is through
Teamwork.
Well that and shame.
Well, shame, yeah.
Like we have a responsibility where we live to at least make sure that people can not get assaulted on a trail, and that the kids are safe.
And we're guaranteed certain rights, and every human is.
Sure, inalienable,
Yes.
given by God. And if you don't believe in God,
Whatever higher power, our
whatever
creator.
higher- yes.
Our creator.
they are, and the government is there to protect those rights for you, not to walk all over them and disregard them.
Yeah. So natural resources and the public estate, according to state of Pennsylvania, the people have a right to clean air, pure water, and to the preservation of the natural, scenic, historic, and aesthetic values of the environment. That's written in our Constitution of the state of Pennsylvania. What are we doing? They're not doing anything. I think the zone, they need to leave. Not leave. They need to be taken care of. This cannot happen.
I think it, and agree or disagree with me, I think it needs to become unattractive for them.
It is, but not enough people are willing to call them out on it, like you said.
So we need to be. I'm happy we're doing this. Some people are going to be mad. Oh, what are you doing? Well,
you've
we're
you've
bringing
already-
attention to it.
Yeah.
Well, that's our freedom of the press.
Yeah.
Because when the
Did we
Constitution.
just become press?
Well, everyone's press. That's the amazing thing about it. So like CBS didn't exist when they signed signed the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It was the people. The people were the ones allowed to bring things to light. That is the press.
Right.
I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be having to shine a light on.
I would
problems.
much rather show you what is in this Amazon bag right now.
I would much rather. I don't want to say it on this one. This is too serious. It's incumbent upon all of us to kind of like band together, put aside differences that are foolish to begin with. We are all on this boat together, right?
Yep.
I don't care what one side thinks about the other side. There are human things that we can all agree on.
And living like that is unacceptable. They're animals.
It is totally unacceptable.
They're animals.
Well, and to go what you said, like I said it earlier, I said the funny thing about the group of us as we sit here and talk is you said it's not a Republican Democrat. It's not a right left. It is a human decency, taking care of your community, taking care of your neighbors, and doing the right thing, keeping people safe, making sure that there's opportunities for prosperity, for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's the most basic, common American value. Ironically enough, at this table right here sit a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent.
How about it?
I'll let you figure out which was which. But this is a very much just three people that live in this community that are concerned about this community and concerned about all of the people, including the people that live by the river.
I think, and what was that
The
show?
security-
What was that show where it's like topic is this, talk amongst yourselves? It was like an
Coffee Clutch.
Coffee Clash. I think
I'm getting verklempt.
something strange has happened over the last few years where compassion has turned into cruelty. Things done in the name of compassion have become cruel, exclusive, and evil. So when you hear the national conversation and it's all about compassion and equality and all these things, it seems like they neglect things in service of this higher purpose. And there's a lot of human suffering that lies underneath that they're neglecting.
Yeah.
This is being, in my view, incentivized and encouraged.
Oh, yeah.
All in the name of compassion. This is why they're being compassionately given drug paraphernalia, why they're being compassionately allowed showers while the residents have to pay at Weston Field.
Yep.
All of these things are done in compassion, but the ultimate thing is it's a net negative for the area, for the residents, and for the people who are suffering. So the course of actions that we're taking so far are having negative effects.
Yep. Sure are.
I don't know why the people that we elect who think and act like they are smarter than we are, don't get together and say, we need to fix this. We need to come up with a solution. Because for every problem, there is always a solution, especially when it comes to government.
Yes. I've reached out to every single council person. I've reached out to the mayor. I've reached out to everyone I possibly can to try to find a way, and it's just lip service. It's just, not all of them. I mean, some of the council people are ticked off about it. But you can't just tell me, oh, we can't do anything, the ACLU. And some of them didn't even get back to me. Like they were all for it when they wanted me to put up their signs, and hey, could you get me set up over here? Could you do this? Yeah, sure, man, I'll help you. And now that there's a problem, and that no one's doing anything about it, and everyone needs to come together on this. This is our town.
Yes,
our town, and it's only going to get worse.
And we're welcoming. I don't mind people coming in who are here legally and who want to move here legally.
Right. And when I say our town, I mean anyone that lives here. This is our town.
Yeah.
And like that's not okay. That's not okay. Everything that we've seen is not okay. And anyone what are they doing? Just what are they doing? It's time for them to move on to something else. And I think there needs to be a whole new leadership change in a lot of freaking departments. And yeah, I understand that people like to go down to D.C. and do things, but like, what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. What are we doing here?
You know what it is? It's like, do you ever meet the parent when you're trying to tell them that their kid's an asshole, and the parent's like, my Johnny's not like that.
Yeah,
they're just in total indifferent ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that.
How many of our friends have left? Just I'm done.
Most
want nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
we're just gonna go somewhere else.
Most,
right? Yeah. It's
either we lost a bet or we chose poorly, but we're here, And
there's so many other people that are here, and they're going to stay here. They're going to live here. They're going to die here. I'm dying in Scranton.
Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people. Okay, so since we started doing this, have many people reached out to you afraid to speak publicly?
People that I've talked to physically, face to face, the stories that I've heard of being told not to do something and just
stay ignorant.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
For the people in charge, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I want to look, if we can. Dan, can we pull up those photos from the keynote? I want to go through some of the photos and maybe you can explain some of the things that we're seeing.
Sure.
Because I was kind of a lady on the periphery of your.
You were afraid to go up to the tents and stuff like that. I'm not.
I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid of it. It's like don't die with dirty underwear. I didn't want to get shot while holding a camera. It's like die doing what he loved. So this is Railroad Ave.
No, that is.
Yeah, that's the fence.
No, that's by Glico Paint.
Oh, that's Glico Paint. Okay,
yeah. But right by the CIC, and that is where I think a zone should be
designated.
I think a zone should be there. They're already there. The CIC is right there. There's a couple places that are there, and I think it's far enough as a security issue.
So we're gonna give you like a Hooverville.
Well, yeah, I mean something. I mean, it cannot be okay. Like, I'm sorry if you're doing this and you're destroying our town and our environment, and you can't be left alone. I'm sorry.
So this is what we see when the leaves fall off the trees. Imagine what you see when the leaves are. Imagine what you don't see when the leaves are there.
Right, and how many years of this stuff is covered up?
Next slide, Dan. Great logo. That's over by Redner's.
Yep.
That's the one side of Redner's heading down looking down towards the Lackawanna River. Next slide, Dan. That is up by Mount Pleasant.
No, that's by the Gino Murley Center.
That's by Gino Murley?
Yep. By Dunder. Oh no, pen
paper.
Pen paper supply.
Okay. Next. That is the Heritage Trail. The Scranton High School is in the background. If you look in the middle there's a tent. That tent has now had babies, and there are more tents. In the foreground on the front there's a really nice piece of art that is full of trash.
Yeah, I was going to say, that wasn't like that a year ago.
No, it's full of trash.
And the thing is, people have called and complained to all different departments, all different places. The Heritage Trail themselves, I would be shocked
If they haven't complained.
if they haven't.
Next slide.
What are these people doing? We're all being lied to. Like,
Oh, that's next to Redner's.
that's not. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
there's-
gully that goes out from the back of Redner's up to
Mount Pleasant.
Yes,
Next. That's the
same.
same
There's
gully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a couple right in a row.
That's
so-
Redner's. In the back is Lackawanna Avenue.
Yep.
Oh, that's the old fruit
And
station.
so that,
Yeah.
in my opinion, if there ever were to be a zone, I think that should be a zone, and you at least
Where we give them their own community and they can elect their own people to represent them just in
Sure.
that little space.
We'll give one of them a seat on city council.
Yeah, you.
Wait, did you see the guy that was following us on the trail? By the way,
I
Do
did.
you remember that?
I do.
Yeah. I can't wait to go back there. I'd love to talk to him.
I know you would.
Like, I don't care who these people are, where they're from. I am not going to be intimidated by them. And man, if they knew what I did for good old Uncle Sam, they'd be
You
running.
peeled
me.
potatoes, right? Is that what you did?
That's all I did. I peeled potatoes.
And made good soups.
Very good soups.
Good soup.
Next one, Dan. Try not to put the space in between again.
Well, you told me to do that last time.
Dan's really trying to get his
All right,
new logo he made
Here's,
out there.
This one's Railroad Ave. This one's
Yeah.
Railroad Ave behind the convenient and the car wash, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the amount of junk.
There's like 6 or 7 tents in there. There's
and it's all coming from somewhere.
Yes.
they come up. A
These
lot of them
people
come up
don't
from
have
Wilkes-Barre.
jobs. There's no income.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff is all being stolen from citizens of Scranton.
Yeah.
Next one, Dan. Oh, that's the same. That's the
Things
same place.
things were stolen from.
I mean, it's a
from
nice
the,
fire pit.
from the funeral home.
which is a
Which
couple
is
hundred
less
yards
than-
away.
A couple hundred yards away. Things have been stolen from the funeral. The shitter lady was an unhoused person. A couple years ago, as crazy as it is, someone called my dad at like 6:30 in the morning. Said, "Ed, I'm not busting your balls here. Someone's shitting in your bushes out in front of the funeral." And my dad's like, "What?"
Oh,
He's like, "No, get out
Is
of
it my
here."
wife?
No. And the guy's going to work. He's like, "I'm telling you, I swear to God, Eddie, I'm not busting your balls. There's someone shitting in your bushes." So he goes outside and winds up finding a big, nice, steamy pile of shit early in the morning. And then we go around to the back of the building, right by a nice, beautiful stained glass window. Nice set of underwear with urine just right there. Like this is the stuff that like the neighbors are dealing with, that the neighborhood's dealing with. What is going on? Like we need to open up like a wing of the prison or something for mental health.
bring
Like
back mental-
this is not okay.
Bring back psychiatric hospitals.
So this is not okay. And letting other people suffer is not okay.
Let's cycle through, Dan.
What a week.
Do we need to show these people how?
Oh, this is right by the school.
Yeah. Now
Is that a Ukrainian flag in the bottom left there?
It
maybe
looks like it.
Yeah.
could be.
So that what the fuck is that?
yeah.
I'm not
There
kidding.
might
I'm
be
not
a body
I'm
rolled
not,
up in a rug there.
But so that's one of the things that we were concerned about when we were there, because like I was looking at Andy going like, what are the odds of us finding a dead person under
Bobby
all this
Barron. No, they found him. Right?
Well, they found a tooth, I think.
But there have been bodies that have washed up in that river from some of the homeless people.
There was a murder.
Oh,
I
there
think
was a murder?
Yeah. Next one, Dan.
Ooh.
And that.
That's the same area.
Yep. That would
There's
fill
me in the background.
this room 3 feet high.
Oh yeah, all the crap there would fill this room.
That,
Absolutely.
just in that photo, it would fill.
Not that photo, the one prior.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next one, Dan. There it is.
Oh my
That
god.
one.
Is that not insane?
Where is this?
This is
Literally 200 yards from the high school.
Yes.
200 yards from the high school.
And now's the time when you can actually mark it. So on a map, so you can pinpoint them and say, all right, this is here, this is here, this is here. Are they doing that? If they're not doing it, you should. And anyone listening, this is what you should do. I mean, I could
That's
do
your
it for,
camera. You
I could do it for you. I'm already in the process of doing it. So anyone that really wants to do to make a difference, get in touch with me. I have everything you need to do your job.
Dan, do you want to hop back over to Keynote and we'll?
I'll even give you a front end loader to load it up.
Where's that? Oh, that's by the river. So that's by the river by the housing project.
But on Emmett Street.
Yep.
Riverside Housing.
Riverside Housing. You want to keep going, Dan? There's a structure. It's all made out of pallets. I mean, there's probably it's actually bigger than apartments in New York right now.
Well, I'll tell you what.
For free, and you live on the river. I saw a lot of hammocks. There was a lot of hammocks out there.
I want a hammock
Waterfront
by the
property.
river. Yes.
Waterfront property.
So if that's a structure, that should be
Now
taxed.
that person in the summer, if they live there,
Beautiful.
they can go shit and shower and bathe in the river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so here's the thing: if you wanted to do this and you wanted to do it in a responsible way, like
as a citizen,
Yeah, but
not to say that they aren't citizens, but like as a
reasonable human,
yeah.
that is not reasonable. That is not reasonable. If you were to take care of your campsite, any Boy Scout will tell you, anyone that's in the military will tell you, anyone that ever spent any time outside knows this is not what you do. Now, if I were out in the woods and I did this at, say, like a hunting camp somewhere, and a game warden came up to me, I would be fined. I might even get my license suspended, like depending on like how egregious like the offense is. But like,
Do you think that borders on egregious?
yeah, this is not okay. Seriously, like if a conservation officer came, this is not okay. Like, I don't understand it.
Next. Oh, that's inside.
That's a nice veranda that they had.
Yeah.
Like a mudroom.
Yeah.
It's not funny. Next. That's under GOP Abdallah. If you look to your right there, you can see it.
Yeah.
Which is Lackawanna
And
Avenue.
propane tanks hanging out.
Is this
under
the one
there.
where the guy came out?
Yes.
Yeah, look, and you can see where a fire has been started in the past. So I ran into a few old folks like that. They might be in like their 60s, 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about this, and a lot of people have been reaching out to me and talking to me about this. They said what they used to do, like way back in the day, the fire department would just go and just burn them out.
Like cockroaches.
I guess so.
Smoke them out.
And they would get their training or whatever, and that's what would be done. Because I mean, what else do you do? We have to get dumpsters. It's got to go into a dump. That's not all right.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things.
Should we legalize burning in the city? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Well, it's
apparently
already illegal.
Apparently,
It's already illegal.
Apparently, they're allowed to do it.
Right.
You know, when we were up at
Under a bridge.
when we were up at Mount Pleasant, there was a garbage can, and I start the shot on there, but that was full of burned stuff.
Yeah.
Next image, Dan. Or is that the end?
That would be the end.
Okay. One of the things
Nice
is
logo, Dan.
One of the things is when we were seeing all those piles of crap, the last thing, and I would think that anyone would do, is without gloves or a hazmat suit touch that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're bringing in an environmental.
So it's not like easy for us to be like, oh, let's just clean this up.
No,
It's like,
no.
oh, this is.
Oh no, we could do it. We just need a front end loader, maybe a skid steer too.
Yeah, but I'm talking like
and a
people with
dumpster.
garbage bags. But I mean, this is to clean this up. How many dumpsters do you think it would be? Just by the Scranton High School alone, I think
On the
it would
square
be.
yardage, like we're talking 10-yard dumpsters at multiple different sites.
You think that that's easily
It
a
could
bare
be
minimum of what to do,
bare minimum of what needs to be done.
and a bunch of able-bodied people and a lot of protective gear.
Well, I think and when I say like elected officials, it's not just like Scranton.
This is all of our problem.
This is everyone.
Yeah.
So like I think that there should be some sort of program, and hopefully like these incoming people that are going to be representing us soon, people that are in positions of power that could do something. Why aren't we doing maybe like a work release program, something like that, to where
I think because it costs money,
okay.
and they'd rather build pet projects than actually fix problems.
Well, I mean, this is. There's so many things.
We got to make sure.
Talked about.
Thought experiment. Talk amongst yourselves. What happens when the train comes?
Good things.
Good things. Good things could come from
Do you
that.
think net positive or net negative?
No, that's the worst idea. The train coming is the worst thing in the world.
I don't know. I don't want to think
I think
that.
it's terrible.
I don't want to think that. I think that laws need to be enforced, and we need to have a strong back. If we're going to do it, you can't let shit here.
We are now opening an artery.
It's already here.
To the criminal element of New York. So my point, as I said earlier, why incentivize it? Why make it easier? You make it easier for criminals to hop a train, drop off the drugs, get back on the train. And then the excuse is, they're going to have drug dogs.
Well, no.
They have drug dogs in school. There are kids still with drugs.
I don't know. Do
in
they have
school.
drug dogs in school?
They're supposed to.
I don't know.
They bring them in every now and again. But like that train is like, that is a dangerous thing. I think it's a
absolutely.
net dangerous thing. We've survived this long without it.
It could be done well, and it could be done.
I don't think so.
Well,
I'm not as
you need to
optimistic
have the
as
right
you
people.
are.
You need to have the right people.
That's the
Which
key.
we don't have.
It could be the greatest thing that ever happened if done properly.
I don't think so.
The track record of the people currently making decisions right now are not showing a strong track record of doing things properly.
I think the way that you go through TSA, you go into an airport, going aboard an airplane, something similar to that, maybe a little bit more streamlined, but it can be done.
Tens of millions.
What is the positive side that they're selling the train on? Like, what are they saying?
What a great question.
well,
Passenger rail going
Yeah.
to Philly, New York.
Okay, and
So
then what
what's-
do you do on that train? Like, what's the point of that? I could take a bus. I could drive a car. Is it just to go visit the towns?
No, the idea is that you would have commuter traffic.
Okay, so
so-
now I'm going to work in New York City, so I'm going to take a train 2 hours every morning. People aren't working in New York City anymore, though, either.
You do know it's 17 minutes longer to take the train to New York if the train came here than it is to drive into the city.
Really?
Yes.
I don't really do a lot of research on trains because I'm not a nerd.
There's a bus that goes to New York City every morning at like 4 a.m. Nobody takes that. Like, very few people do. If that was a big thing,
Yeah, a kid took
people
it-
would be flocking to that bus. The bus is only 3 hours or 3.5. Like, it's not much slower than the train.
Yeah, so why are we creating problems that didn't exist? I think that train is tens of millions of dollars of infrastructure that's unnecessary, right? Now you got to include the overhead of like who's policing it? Because somebody's budget's got to pay for that. Is it going to be the federal government, the state government, the local government? Like,
Right.
I don't think anybody's answering these questions. I think it's really look. I'm sure there are business people along that line who are like, this is a great thing for my business, but I don't think it's going to be a great thing for the people. I think ultimately it's going to be a net negative, and it's always one of those things where like they pass the thing through and everybody's like, yeah, and then like 4 or 5 years later they're like, this was a terrible fucking idea.
But look at the
But
Poconos.
now we're $20 million into it, and we don't want to walk away.
Walk away, cut your losses.
Yeah.
Because it's a bigger problem later. It's like, is it okay for like after the first spoonful of paint that your kid eats, like should you stop it or should you let them keep eating paint? You
Yeah,
know what
now
I mean?
they've got lead.
I'm just that's how binary I look
Right.
at
And
it.
so we can't even take care of this issue here.
Yeah, we
Right.
can't. So what are we gonna do with it? Yeah,
It's a major
You know what?
security issue. And
I
there's-
will be for the train if all
Let's
this
fix
shit
it.
is taken. If we fix this first, I am for the train.
Right.
If you keep your town safe and clean and all that shit, I am all for it.
So let's talk about. So didn't like the street crimes unit? Didn't that go down in numbers?
I
And
believe
then,
the
like,
drug
bad,
cri- I
and
believe the
bad
drug crime
things
unit,
happened.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for like the local like authority, like the city cops.
Look, they are under siege.
I know
The city cops are under siege. They're 40 officers below where they should be. They don't have the manpower. They don't have the infrastructure to do what needs to be done. So instead of fucking getting a train line, let's take some of that money, buy some officers, or not buy some officers, but put them on the payroll.
Judge Dreads.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine that.
I would love to live there.
It's
not in
really-
that city, but
It's really weird what happens when you defund the police.
we didn't. We just neglected them and ignored them, and treated them like shit. The two worst professions to be in right now are a cop and a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
We're treating them like shit. We're
Well,
not
that's why
allowing.
teachers are fleeing. Good teachers are fleeing Scranton High School.
They're
the
getting
Scranton
out.
School District in droves.
They're getting out. Like
Yep.
this is in the city, the school district, and the county do not have conversations. They don't talk to each other. They don't have monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly meetings to be like, where are you at? What's going on? Information sharing. The people in the schools, I mean, we're having gang members going to schools. We have gang members in schools. We have gang members shooting fucking cops in the head on Instagram live streams.
Yeah.
And we're all like, the train.
We had there was a school safety director that walked away from his position
because what I heard was he wasn't allowed in the high school.
Well, from what I understand, it was because they didn't listen to his
wouldn't give him the
recommendations.
resources he needed.
They wouldn't listen to his recommendations. He's like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, that's what are we doing? We're hiring a guy to not listen to him.
Yeah.
This guy's as close to a pro as anybody has, and usually they're not pros. My grandfather, you know what he had this saying is when he ever had to sue anybody, he goes, "You know what the definition of an expert is?" I said, "What?" He goes, "Anybody who lives more than 100 miles away." They come into your town, nobody knows them, everyone thinks that they're fucking smart.
Yeah.
You know, and they can get away with shit because they do that. If you have somebody in a position that knows what the fuck they're talking about, don't try to stop it. Like, everybody's got to work together and be a team. Be like, if this is what we're going to do, we're all go where we go one, we go all.
Yep.
And I know that's a Q thing, but it's more of like a
I thought
Scranton.
it was Three Musketeers, but continue.
even better.
I really-
D'Artagnan.
I wonder if, like, from a security standpoint, from looking through it through that lens, from me, and I'll always look at life through that lens. It's just ingrained.
Protecting
in me.
and serving.
Yeah, it's ingrained in me. Just that and what the military has taught me, the military schooling, the life experiences that I've been through, and trained on, and lived through some pretty terrible, horrific things.
Sure.
Yeah, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it way wrong. And I think they need to have some sort of committee of real people that did it, not just, I just served my community and
We don't need bureaucrats. We need people who know how to take action and fix things.
Do you think the sensitive people out there, the ones who are very like, we need to, basically a lot of the left, do you think that they won't ask military people because it's military? In other words, like your job in the military is to protect and to serve, right? So if you're told to go somewhere, you go do that. But you're to protect our country.
Sure.
So why wouldn't they come to people like you and say,
because the whole
give it just as a volunteer basis, give us your assessment. What do you think? Like, if this was Kabul, what would be the way for us to protect our people?
I was a part of one of the assessments for one of the local school districts a couple of years ago, and I've talked to some of the school directors in Scranton. I've asked them some very pointed questions, and I said, if you don't have these plans, if you don't have standard operating procedures, casualty collection points, a place to land a helicopter, if you don't already have that down, like, you're wrong. If all of your windows are not labeled with numbered, and you don't have schematics, and your schematics aren't given to the Scranton Police Department or the Lackawanna Sheriff, like, if law enforcement doesn't have the schematics of your buildings, how many entrances are in that building? How many doorways are in that building? Exits, entry, like, so many. If they don't have that, you're doing it wrong. Like,
well, you're definitely behind the eight ball. Like, you are
Absolutely.
not prepared for whatever happens. Like, what's that saying about when preparation meets, what is that? Success is like when preparation meets hard work, or so, I don't know, something like that. But
piss poor planning promotes poor practice, or something like that, or proper planning.
So the way I say it is you're either waiting for the train or you're chasing it, right?
Yeah.
We are chasing the train. Not to bring it back to
You're obsessed with trains.
I
This is
know. I
Northeast
don't
PA.
know. The choo-choo trains are amazing.
Do you like HO trains or Lionel or N scale?
Lionel for our
Lionel.
all time,
I
yeah.
don't know.
for the true originals.
But I mean, like, okay, we're not protecting our kids. What the fuck makes you think that we're going to protect our citizens?
Yeah.
Like, that is a profound realization. It's like our own kids we're not even protecting. Everyone thinks that they know, but none of them know. None of them have ever been in the trenches. None of them really go to fucking places where it's, like, dangerous, to understand, like, what people are going through. What do you want? Every parent I talked to when I ran for school board, I said, what was the one thing that if you could change the school district, what would you do? And you know what 90% of them said? I'd leave the district. And I'm like, that's not a good summation of what you should do. They don't feel like their kids are safe. They don't feel like they're getting a good education. And now every time they walk out of school, they see a city that doesn't give a shit about itself.
I don't see people inspiring other people to do well.
No, inspiration is not like you should do this. And
I mean,
feel good
there's
about
good people. Like there's people all over, developers in the city that still have hope.
Yeah,
I'm friends with.
God
with
bless
one of
them.
Like, yeah, I mean, I still have hope. I wake up every day. How can I make this place better? Whether it's in my personal life, whether it's in my business life, whether it's at the Yukovets, anything that I do, how can I make it better?
Mm-hmm. You were told a number. You asked how many unhoused people were in the city limits. What were you told?
Do we know? I was told that 30.
This is officially. You were told
30 come in for Code Blue,
which is when it's chilly.
When it's chilly, and they open up the doors for.
Wait. Where do they go?
They go down to the Keystone Mission, and then there's another place that they go, but they only have a certain amount of beds.
Okay.
So I think there's a cheap way to at least give some sort of relief. A concrete slab, heated concrete slab, and something similar to like storage units, like a U-Haul or self-storage unit, something similar to that, just so at least you have shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's better than what they have now. And
I know, but
it could be done so cheap.
I know, but you're coming at this from a place of like, here's what you think you would need. I don't think you can. The perspective of suffering from drug-induced psychosis and mental illness is something that really just when I went down there.
So shitting outside their tent and living amongst their trash.
They don't
is
see
better.
Yeah, well, people who have property and houses who live like hoarders. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
it's mental illness.
Sure.
So like for you and I to go like this is what we need to do. We don't really understand the psychopathy of psychosis, especially drug-induced psychosis and living on the streets and trauma. This is all I see everyone who's homeless, and I have nothing but empathy for them because I know they come from something traumatic.
Sure.
And I want them to be happy, healthy, and feel like they have purpose. This way ain't helping them. And no one seems to fucking care. Like, this should be the number one priority. It's like, how do you know a man? How does he treat animals?
Mm-hmm.
If a man can treat an animal with respect, these people don't even are elected. The people of this city feel like they're helpless. They feel like they don't have a voice, and they can go do something, right? Because they're elected officials, they feel like it's hopeless because they've been traumatized for generations.
I can't tell you how many of my friends say, "I don't even vote anymore. What's the point?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, what? That's crazy to me because it's the
pillar of our country.
We need to moving forward. We need to be more active with, if you want to talk about diversity, no one's talking to the diverse populations about their problems. They're only using the diverse populations for photo ops.
Sure.
And I think it's a real shame because you're missing an opportunity to get to the center of what is the core of the problems in these communities, and they don't want to do it. They're just like, hey, but I gave you free ice cream. And it's like, but I don't want ice cream. I want to eat my own food. I want to grow my own food. I want to be, you know what I mean? And they're not getting that.
There's since I've been paying attention to Scranton politics over the past, maybe 10 years, you see the people who are involved. You see the people who are going to events who are donating their own money, not their campaign money. They're donating their time,
dollars.
Their dollars.
Their time, their talent, their treasure.
Right. And then there's others that I don't know what they're like. They don't even do anything. And there are elected officials. Mm-hmm. It's like they're shunning people like.
I think it's like people joining a book club. Some of them treat it like it's joining a book club. You hold your hand up and you put your other hand on the Bible and you swear an oath.
Yeah.
And they don't uphold it.
To this thing.
You can hold it up to your camera, Dan.
Oh, you got it. I'm already there.
It's a funny thing. Like if you actually read it, you can say, "Holy shit, we could do this."
We have an idea for an event this summer. You interested?
I would like to know the details first. Before we do that, though, can we talk about your scarf?
I was going to mention that.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Nothing.
I feel warm around my neck when I wear it.
Like a 1920s pilot. You can put on that hat.
No, you know what it was? Dan was over at my house last night. Was it last night?
Yeah, we were playing Microsoft
Flight Simulator, and
Tell me more.
I did the Spirit of St. Louis and the Spruce Goose. So apparently now I feel like Howard Hughes or Charles Lindbergh.
Are you shitting in tissue boxes?
Yeah, peed in bottles. Okay.
You know, we should find out from like some game wardens. Maybe we can get like a game warden on here and talk about some stuff, or maybe some water conservation officers, something like that. Because I remember swimming in one of the dams as like a, I don't know, junior in high school. We all went to Burnout Bridge, jumped in the reservoir, swam around. And I remember coming out of there, and here was this water conservation officer sitting on my truck. What are you guys doing out here?
Not allowed in that water.
Right. Oh, okay. We just went for a swim. Yeah, you can't do that. We're gonna need everyone's IDs. Like, whoa! I didn't do anything. I just went for a dip in the water, and now we have this. Fast forward how many years?
Moving past this, a couple of things about the future. One of the things about the future that really concerns me is that we have these transients, as we'll call them, people without a home, move with the wind. Then we have people who get comfortable. The transient thing is a problem because, as much as people don't want to accept or believe it, there has been, on the low side, 7 million people who have crossed our border illegally in the last 3.5 years. And on the high side, people put it at 22 million. And those people just don't go to Arizona, Texas, and California.
Sure.
They go all over the country.
And there's some bad people in those groups.
Very bad. And there are people who have seen videos of the border. There are people who have seen people crossing the border making threats.
Mm-hmm. I saw a video maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and some guy with a camera asked him who he was, and he said, "You'll know who I am."
Yeah.
They tracked it down. He is on a terrorist watch list.
He's the head of anyways. That's going to come here eventually.
Probably already is.
And if you don't make it unattractive, it will continue to come here, or unappealing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm at my point where it's like it has to become unappealing.
So we're doing more for folks that come into our country than we are doing for our own homeless people.
And our vets that are homeless.
And we're feeding them, we're clothing them,
and we're giving them $10,000 prepaid debit cards.
No.
New York City did that.
$10,000.
Yes, each illegal immigrant gets $10,000.
I stayed at a really nice hotel in New York probably about 6 years ago called The Row.
I'm not poor.
It's a really nice little hotel.
That's not true. There's no way. That can't be true.
Called The Row. It is now a homeless shelter, a undocumented immigrant.
You don't believe
shelter.
that?
The whole hotel's
I can't
been
believe
taken
it.
over.
I'm shocked. I'd be shocked.
I thought it was 5,000.
No, it's $10,000.
What are we doing? What is going on?
New York. Okay, this is from the New York Post. Inside Mayor Adams' migrant debt card boondoggle, No Bid Bank gets a $50 million award from the government to give border crossers up to $10,000 each. That was what, last week?
Up to.
A few days ago?
I'm hearing it for the first time.
Up to 10.
And there's no ID that you need to give. You just walk in. There are people on flights now that are coming from Arizona and Texas that on their flight it says no name given on their ticket. You and I have to go through security. We have to take our shoes off. I basically have to get somebody to stick their hand up my ass so they can use me like a puppet.
Yeah, but you asked for that.
Well, I think it's because I wore the scarf.
It's the scarf.
So,
the scarf was the big giveaway, and I feel bad now because you look cold.
My concern about the future is that in a town like Scranton, a rough and tumble Joe Biden hard scrabble town, people eventually get real pissed off. And when they see other people getting treated, when they see themselves doing all the things that they're supposed to do, like good little drones, as you said, and they see other people getting perks of no positive motivation at all, what do those people do? Like psychologically, they start to become bitter. They start to become angry because things ain't getting cheaper. Things ain't getting better. They ain't getting easier. What happens to those people who are just normal everyday Joes that you and I know that one day are just like, fuck this. I'm done with this.
They just do they want it to fail? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me.
I think they turn into angry, bitter people, and that doesn't help the mental health crisis in this country. It's like we're making people. Eventually, you're going to have vigilantism.
Well,
and you don't want that.
Well, as Micah said, like, it's not a good time. I think it's a good time to be a cop. I think every time's a good time to be a cop or to be a law enforcement officer.
Well, especially if you're
difficult time,
supported,
though.
you should
Right,
be
it's a
supported.
Right, you should be supported. And they all need to know, like, you guys are guardians of peace. You guys aren't warriors. That's for the military and maybe certain law enforcement groups that are going after really, really, really bad guys. But, like, you're guardians of peace. You're the ones that hold it all together. That's the whole thin blue line. And we need leadership now more than ever for our police officers.
I feel like their morale's in the toilet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like it's just like every day they're not allowed. Like,
But
imagine,
the brotherhood and the camaraderie of any service, but especially like the police, like the brotherhood and camaraderie of it is amazing.
but how do you think the main export of Northeast PA is gossip. Like, these guys are all these guys and girls are all going to talk to each other, and they're going to be, and bitterness is going to spread like a virus.
Yeah.
And I think it already has. Our law enforcement officers in the city of Scranton and the surrounding areas feel like they're handcuffed, and they can't do anything. They can't protect their. Oh, and now they don't have to live in the city, so they drive in, they drive out.
Well, I think it's important for the heads of these law enforcement agencies all throughout the county, whatever
Up the line, down the line.
Yeah, whatever 3-letter agency that's in town that you're here, everyone needs to work together, and you need to inspire each other because
Encourage each
it's
other.
not and encourage. It's gloomy. Everyone knows it. Everyone that I talk to knows that something's going on. Like, what the heck is going on?
They feel it.
Everyone knows, and no one's doing a damn thing to make it better.
So, where do we go from here? What are people going to expect? We have we're gonna do 3 more videos if the plan sticks together. One of them is we're gonna go the whole Heritage Trail.
Yep, all of it, every bit of it.
Find out what's there, what's going on, what the locals think, local businesses, and then I don't want this to seem like an indictment of elected officials. So one of them is we've actually reached out to a couple elected officials, and they've temporarily said that they'd be willing to talk to us about it on camera.
We'll see what kind of backlash that gets.
Yeah,
I don't want it to. That's the thing is, like, I don't want. Like, this is common sense stuff. Like, you look, like, it's just as easy as, like, you see a child suffering. It's like, we need to stop that.
Yeah.
We need to fix that. You know, that's why, like, children and youth and all that stuff. It's like, this is not good. Like,
doing
it's not
nothing
good.
is not the answer.
And that,
I
we're just
can't say
closing
it
our
enough.
eyes. We're just
I can't
closing
say
our
it
eyes.
enough. And
I don't have all the solutions because I don't know all the bureaucracy of it all.
yeah.
You know, I know it used to be the firemen went down there, and then the next day everyone woke up and it's like, it smells like something's burning, but I feel safer.
What's it going to take? Is it going to take something to happen, something drastic to happen?
I don't. Here's the thing. I think
And
all
then
of us are in
they'll-
agreement. We don't
didn't
want.
know.
Well,
All
and
of us-
that's the big question, Andy. I think that's like the culmination of all this. Like, does a kid have to step on a needle? Does somebody have to get attacked? Does somebody have to?
I
God
literally
forbid,
found drugs laying in the open.
Yeah, like does somebody have to get killed for this to be fixed? What do we have to do?
My father has this saying that he goes, you pay for insurance so you never have to use it, right?
Right.
I don't. We need to be proactive so that something terrible doesn't happen, because when something terrible happens, it's too late.
Right.
It's already done. Something that you could have corrected. Something that, like, instead of having, like, this stupid fucking animosity towards each other about, like, how you look, who you fucking kiss, where you pee, which I think are all fucking, the pee thing's weird. But
Pee in a toilet
it has, like,
or urinal.
if you can, everybody needs to come together and focus on the things that we have in common, and the common wants, the common things that we all would like to see. A unified purpose.
Yeah.
And not like a unified purpose and like, we're going to take over like, it's not like some sort of call to action. It's like, it's all things that we as Americans can agree on. It's like life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Sure. And if you go to other countries where there are refugee camps, they use every bit of the resources that they can. They're not throwing away anything that doesn't need to be thrown away. I doubt that they would even have garbage, because that's not how people in refugee camps live. Like,
Have you seen refugee camps that are cleaner than our river?
not refugee camps, but I've seen, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And some refugee camps have tens of thousands of people in them.
Yeah. And I've seen towns or squares in towns of Iraq that look very similar to that.
This
Very,
is
very
war-torn Iraq.
Yeah, but not even war-torn. It's just that it was a shitty city. Like,
What's our comparable Iraqi shitty city?
Like Baltimore?
I don't know.
That's a racist dog whistle, Dan.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
No, I've been to Baltimore.
Okay, what do you? I know you got to go. You have a call that you have to tend to, and I don't want to occupy more of your time.
I'm grateful to be here.
I'm happy that we have people like you in town. So, and I'm happy that like we're friends.
Yeah. So anyone that's still listening, please do your job. Be a part of something bigger than your paycheck. You didn't sign up to be a cop or to work for the city or to work on behalf of the taxpayer to do nothing. Do something about this.
And we'll
or I'm gonna have to come and do something about it. So,
which is what I said.
You don't want that.
And if anybody who's watching, if you see something or something is bothering you, feel free to drop us a message on like Facebook, Instagram, or our email, which is podcast nepa@gmail.com.
NEPA2.
NEPA2.
Oh,
the
we're the
number
second.
2.
We're the
Yeah,
second
number
What a Week
2.
podcast.
I shouldn't have said it. Well, I set up the first YouTube wrong. So
No, we own both. We just can't get into the other one.
yeah, I lost the password.
We're a real
maybe.
first-class operation here, guys.
And like I encourage people to like reach out to us. Like we're gonna try to see what we can do because it seems like nobody else is willing to like show you what is going on. Like I think there's a real disconnect between people telling
and
you
showing.
and showing. And I think we have to show. And I don't mind going to film those things as long as
Everyone that I've shown this to, they said they were shocked. Could not believe it. Could not believe that this is what's going on in our town, our city, our environment, our valley, next to our river, next to our train tracks.
And this is
in our backyards, next to our children, next to our schools.
And I think what we showed was just like the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. Do something. You'd put your hand up and you swore. Read this. Read this.
I just choked on my own spit.
Well, Marky can't talk, so maybe. Do you want me to ask Dan?
Well, real quick, I want to get final thoughts from you and Dan. I mean, were you? I mean, what do you think? Am I being?
So,
do we have any comments that we can talk about?
So I'm a business owner. That's kind of what I know. And in business, you're a business. We're all business owners in our own way. There's no such thing as staying the same. It doesn't happen. You are either growing and evolving or you are dying. And when I look at the current trajectory of our community as it relates to this, it is only getting worse. And unless we are proactive, unless we put a different plan in place, different systems, and possibly different people, it will continue to get worse until it's an unmanageable problem, and Scranton turns into Kensington.
Or Portland.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's where we're headed, unless we do something about it.
I don't want anyone to leave office or get kicked out. Just do your fucking job. Try to make this place better. Listen to the people who are out there doing it. Like, it's not just I'm just an asshole with a camera. You're just a guy who invited me to go out. You know what I mean?
I'm just a funeral director.
Yeah, it's like we shouldn't be the ones doing this. We shouldn't be the ones. You know, I'm happy to do it, but like it's pretty messed up if we're the ones that have to do it.
Mm-hmm. And for the most part, some of the people that I've talked to, like that are rank and file workers that would be able to do something, they're in support of it, of what we just premiered and showed everyone. I think I'd be shocked if people that have the ability to do something do not act.
So you think this is a positive thing?
I think this is a positive thing
to help people.
If something is not like you need to do something because you sure as shit didn't do anything yet.
Well, in order to fix a problem, first you have to understand and admit that you have a problem.
Sure.
And that's where we're at. Here's the problem. Now it's time for action.
Yep.
I think it's too little too late. I think it's, well, not too little too late, but I think man, we got a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, we sure do.
Dan, what's your final thought?
I think the big thing, and you don't have it in the video, but I remember I saw it in the footage when you were talking to that guy.
Should I release that?
The 43-year-old, but when he was saying how your concern was, you brought up to me, you're like, my concern is like it's getting cold now. Where are you all going? And I think that's a big thing with this too, that you're bringing it to light, and especially to me, who doesn't live down here, but I drive through here all the time. I don't think about all these little things tucked away, and then the compassionate side of all this. This isn't for shock value. It's not to scare people, but it's kind of open your eyes and see, and also like you're saying, like the compassion of it. Like these people are out there. It's cold. I don't want to be out there in this at 2 a.m. tonight with a tent, but here they are, and open your eyes, and we want better for everybody around here, and a better life for everybody. If they need help, mental help, physical help, whatever it may be, I think that's like a big side of it too, that hopefully people see through everything that you're kind of putting out there.
Oh, he's good at what he says.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't talk a lot, but when I do, it's important.
Says the egomaniac. Jesus
Who
Christ.
wants to talk about Star Wars now?
Real quick, I want to thank Chef Vaughn and Mom for catering tonight.
Oh, wings are fire.
Everybody watch Next Level Chef Thursdays on Fox. Our boy Ryan Smith is on it. He's one of the most amazing chefs I've ever met, and he is a beautiful human being.
He's a great hugger.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. You feel love and warmth, and he smells like his kitchen, which is always like, that's good. All right, Andy. Obviously, we're gonna have to do this again. And we went out and shot some stuff already, some that I haven't used, and we're gonna go out and finish our little 4-part whatever, hopefully in the next few weeks, and then we're just gonna get it out there. And hopefully in the interim, this brings awareness, and people start to make moves to at least give the illusion that they're sympathetic, empathetic, caring people.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying yeah. Andy Chomko, always a pleasure. You're a beautiful human being.
Thank you,
I
sir.
appreciate it. You want to throw it over to...
Hey, Dan.
What's his name? Wait, what's his name?
I don't know. Hey, Dan,
What's it
anything
called?
else you would like to say?
Yeah, I fucked this up. What a week.
Are we out?
Out.